Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Lance.
And we're the SAR guys. And today we're going to talk, Lance, about emergency shelters. And
Shelters, right on.
this is one that they issue us on our team. It's called Don't Die in the Woods Two-Person Survival Tent. There's all kinds of names for them.
Yeah.
But it's basically a tube made out of Mylar. And we're going to show you how we use them.
Right on. So Joe was showing a two-person sack, the Mylar. Mine's a single person. They're called bivy sacks. And it's basically the exact same thing. It's Mylar. These are designed more for a one person. And typically they're one-time use, but as long as you're decently careful with them, which I've never really been known to do that very well, then you could probably use them more than once. These are nice because you can, just like a burrito, get in here, curl up, and go. And you got to understand, shelters are really dependent on how you're going to use them and for how long you need them. If you're talking about just for a few hours hunkering down because you know you've got another team that's going to come and help you out, then making just a quick shelter, getting in it, and then sealing it up so you're holding in that body heat in that's going to be great. Or putting your patient in it to keep them warm and keep them out of the elements. These are really nice because if anything, it will hold in the body heat, but it also keeps the elements off of you. And it's part of the reasons why I like these. You're not going to fit two people in these. I'm going to be lucky to get in it myself, but there again, in survival or in a situation where you need to go camping for the night or hunker down for the night, it's not really a fashion show anyways. All right. So I'm right at 6 foot tall, so you might want to check the size of your sacks in that. Mine is sealed at the bottom, and because it's more of a sack, and so what you can do is you get this thing around you, and then like this one, probably not going over my head, so I'm just gonna, sorry about the mic, but I'm gonna hold it as tight as I can to it. I might even push it out to get my feet out or make a little bit of extra room for myself. So know whether or not your sack's gonna actually fit you or not. Like you can see, this is a one person sack. You're not getting two people in here.
All right, so this is our life tent, and it's basically just a tube of Mylar, and it's supposed to fit two people fairly easily. The setup, as you saw in the previous part of the video, you pick a tree and you go up about 3 feet up the tree, go the other side, same thing, about 2 to 3 feet up the tree, and you run the ridge line through the tent. You don't have to attach it, but you can. And you can use a prusik and put a little pebble in there, and I'll show you a little detail on that in a minute. You want to be careful about the ground that you pick. You want to make sure you're not in the way of a bunch of runoff. The ground could be flat or sloped just a little bit, but always slope away from where you're laying there. Lance, you have ideas?
Well, I think, this is a totally different style than what we just showed you with the one person tent. As a shelter, you got to remember, you got to think about temperature and that. With these, with the open ends, it's not going to hold in the temperature, but it's definitely going to get you out of the elements. And so know what you need and understand the shelter that you need for the different environments that you're in during that time.
Right, the situation is important too. On the open ends, if you're in a big windy area, you can roll these up and fold it down so you have a three-way. You could even drop one end down to the ground and have it closed off that way. A big advantage to this tent is if you have a patient with you that you need to keep covered and warm, you can have this open and go in there with them,
Yeah,
and be checking on your patient while you're in
absolutely.
there. Or if you could actually fit 2 or 3 people in here
Yeah.
when it's open, and you spread the bottom out with sticks or rocks, or even if you have the time and you know it's going to be a long haul, you can make little stakes and drive them into the ground, and again use little pebbles to make a holder. So this, you don't want to tear holes in this stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't tear very easily, but in order to tie lines onto it, there's a technique for doing that, and I'll overlay the video that
Yeah.
shows you how to do that.
Yeah, it's really important, the ground though. Try to smooth out anything that's going to be sharp. Get that out of there, any twigs or something that's going to puncture it, because if it is raining or something and you have holes in there, the water is going to find its way in. And so do your best to be able to protect yourself and your patient. And there again, just as we said many times, this is search and rescue. It is not survival. And so usually if you're going to have to do a shelter, it's for a night, and just to be able to get the resources up to you in the morning or throughout the day to be able to get the resources into you later on. And so they're usually temporary shelters, quick, easy. Nowadays with fancy stuff, it makes it a lot easier. You could simply do one of these lines and take one of your I've got one of those heavy duty orange plastic bags.
Yep.
And you could set up just this temporary shelter, cut it open. Use your imagination. As part of what I love about search and rescue is we're problem solvers.
Right.
And there's many ways to solve this problem.
So I'm going to show you how I use a prusik and a pebble to put tension on the top of the tent, and you can do this on all four corners if you want to. But the first thing I do is I use a prusik that's made out of our paracord, and I wrap it around 3 times. You make sure that you don't have the knot, that you don't have this knot right here in the middle of the prusik. Okay, so I've got this part set. Now what I'll do is I'll just find a pebble and just stick it in the bite of the tent right here like this, and I'll slide this down, and then I just put a cow hitch on there. Just take your line and twist it upside down, make a couple little loops, wrap it around there, and now I can slide the prusik, and as you can see, the top of the ridge line and the tent are nice and snug, and that's not going to go anywhere.
So how do you loosen that up, Joe?
So to loosen it, all you do is you take your fingers and you just slide it back down.
Right on. So it makes a friction.
It's a friction knot, right?
Okay.
Just like that. And that's all you have to do. And it won't pull back by itself until you push it with your fingers.
Nice.
Okay. All right, well, I think that about wraps it up. Let's just do a quick summary. So we have 2 different sizes of shelters. We had the burrito bag with the closed bottom, and you climb inside of those. And then we also have a larger life tent, or this Mylar tube, and it's used for multiple people, or you can wrap like a burrito as well, but you can get larger content in there. Hopefully you don't ever have to use it.
Absolutely. That's the goal.
Right. Okay, we hope you found this video useful. Please remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you out on the trail.